Hello, my name is Greth, and, well, I really didn't want to use this story as a lead-off story for Greth's story time, but I really don't feel like telling any other story. What I have here is the visor from my car I used to have about 2 weeks ago. And yes, this is the visor that smacked my brother in the face. In fact, right here is where it hit him, which is why this is cracked. It's probably why the mirror's gone in it. It's all broken. Well, this is what happened. See, after I was driving off my friend, well, my brother's friend too, his name's Joe. I just dropped him off, and the funny thing is, the ironic part of it is, he mentioned something how his father would kill us if we pulled into his driveway with my car and he got out of it, because his father mentioned something about some guy in some town nearby died in a car accident, and this some guy happened to be a teenager like me, which is pretty funny. Not really. It's kind of sad, actually, because the guy died, but what can you do? So, this is exactly what happened. So, I'm coming down this road, right? And road I've only been on twice, counting that day. And I'm like, coming up to this turn, and the sun just starts blinding me. And I'm like, oh, first reaction? This is my first reaction, swear to God. And my brother puts his visor down, which is what I just threw that way. And he's about to turn to me as I hit my brakes on this turn. It was like, if I were to describe it to you, this is me coming down the road, and here's the turn. This is the turn. It's like an L with a curve. It's like this, almost like a blind curve. So I'm going for this turn, and I go to hit my brakes. So I hit the brakes in sudden motion, which wasn't a good idea, because I got, well, let's see, brand new steel radial snow tires that I just got in November. It's now March, which is when I got into the accident. And it was just legitly after a snowstorm, so there's a little bit of ice there probably that came into play, but I don't know, it's all melted away now, and it's 2 weeks later. Well, there's like probably about an inch or two of sand on that turn as I hit my brakes. So as soon as I hit the brakes, obviously I started fishtailing. So as I started to fishtail, I let go of the brakes, because as soon as my car started sliding sideways, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Oh boy. So I like let go of the brake and tried to steer out of it, because you're not supposed to keep hitting the brake. You're supposed to pump it, but I kind of wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, oh, I got to get off this brake and try to steer out of it. So I managed to make the turn, but unfortunately I'm still fishtailing and I'm swerving into the other lane, and there's like 3 other cars coming on that side. It's like I briefly look over for a second towards my brother, who's freaking out, and I look past the window. It's like there's a ditch there. Maybe if I jerk my wheel to the right, I could just go into the ditch. So as I turn the wheel suddenly to the right, this is how big my steering wheel, see? It's really big. So as I turn my steering wheel to the right, I started going towards the ditch, but I wasn't going like, let's just say, this is the ditch, a little ditch, and this is me jerking my wheel to the right. When I jerked my wheel, I was still swerving at that point. I didn't go like this, straight into the ditch. I went like this. I just turned a little bit, and I just was going parallel to the ditch. My car's half in the ditch. It's like maybe 1 or 2 of the tires on the passenger side in the ditch as I'm flying forward towards this guy's house. And I'm like, oh crap. And then I see the phone pole. I'm like, oh crap. And then I see the phone pole crunching up against the front of the car. I'm like, oh crap. And then I see the airbag explode into my face as I'm turning my head towards my brother. And I see the visor, which goes like something like this. So it'd be down like this. Comes off, smacks him in the face, goes into the back seat somewhere. I'm like, wow, I'm thinking to myself, wow, this airbag doesn't hurt like people say, because it felt like a pillow. And Then suddenly I see us tipping on our side in slow motion as the airbags deflate. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't say that, but I was in my head. So as I'm looking at my brother after the airbag deployed, he's like falling into slow motion kind of thing, because after the thing, like the visor smacked him in the face, it like pole vaulted into the back seat, causing his head to go, and so he's like he's falling in slow motion underwater. I'm like, this is kind of trippy. That's what I was thinking at that point. Like, this is kind of cool, man. Everything's going so slow. And I see the water rushing past the passenger side window because it landed on its side. I'm like, this is my car, and it went like this. So after my car went like that, I'm like, wow, what just happened? So after I'm thinking, oh man, this is so trippy, the car comes to a stop, and then all is quiet. I hear this little tiny high-pitched sound, but it wasn't really noticeable or annoying to me at the time. All I know is I'm sort of dazed, but I'm still conscious. I was conscious of the whole accident. I saw everything happen. So I'm looking at my brother. He looks like he's passed out. He's like, I'm like, I was like, oh, I hope he's not dead. All I did was look forward to see that some weird black stuff and a crack across my window. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And I look up and I see sky. I'm like, oh, I must be on my side. I'm like, and then I was like, smoke. So somehow, I don't know how, but I undid my seatbelt, which I know I was wearing. Actually, I don't know if the force caused it to come off for a minute. I don't know. All I know is the seatbelt somehow got off of me, and I'm like, all right, time to pop this puppy open, pretty much. I opened it like I'm coming out of a tank, and just sat on the side of the car, held the door open, and my brother pops up, and he's like, I'm like tempted to say, hey, it's okay, it's just a stunt. No, my car is destroyed, and $7,000 later, I got a new car. So anyway, this may not be the funniest version I've told of the story, but this is what happened to me in my accident. Sun blinded me, sand on the road, hit brakes, lost control. Flipped into a ditch. I wasn't expecting to see a phone pole there, but there was. And now I'm going to show you some pictures of what's left of my car. And that's all I have time for.